Every time I step in the booth, I speak the truth. Y'all know what I'm bringing to you.
You're live on the air in The Truth with Terrance Ruth. North Carolina news and politics, culture, sports, and the latest from the Triangle and Eastern Carolina. The Truth with Terrance Ruth.
Hey everyone, welcome to this Thursday. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Now I want to go ahead and get started today. Number one, with just a few things from the NBA playoff. Y'all know I always like to start with basketball. That's one of my favorite sports. Jokic, he won the MVP yesterday for the league. Now, you know, I give it to him, a good player, all right? Again, y'all know who my player is, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has won MVP. One of the greatest of all time. Kobe Bryant has won MVP, okay? League MVP, for those of you who are not familiar with NBA. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, he received 3 MVPs, everyone. And I wouldn't even put him nowhere near Kobe Bryant. I wouldn't even put him nowhere near Kobe Bryant. I'm not hating on the guy. For those of y'all from Denver, for those of y'all, this is your team, the Denver Nuggets. I'm not putting him nowhere near Kobe Bryant. But I'm just floored, man, how he has 3, Steve Nash has 2, and Kobe Bean Bryant has 1. So yeah, he's the MVP for this year. I got to give it to him. I was going for Shai Alexander, Gilgeous-Alexander, who is with the OKC. I like his game. I like OKC. They were number 1 in the league. That would have been my MVP. For those of you who are wondering, that would have been my personal MVP. But I give it to Joker. He got it. He is in a tough 2 down to, they call him Baby Jordan. Okay, Baby Jordan, Anthony Edwards. For those of y'all who haven't seen Anthony Edwards play, Google that guy. Okay, all right. So that's my little top news with the NBA. I always like to start with the NBA. That's my favorite sport. But I'm floored that there are 2 people who have more MVPs than Kobe Bryant. Let me just give you some historical context. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird has 3 MVPs. Yes, you heard me right. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird has 3 MVPs. So he tied them, and he's young in his career, which means he has a chance to surpass the legendary Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And Kobe Bean Bryant has 1. So y'all just take that to the bank for what it's worth. But for the NBA, this guy has 3 MVP. I hope he got the playoffs, to be honest with you. I hope he got the playoffs. But no, we are coming up on this summer. For those of you who already know, I am a professor at NC State. We just had our graduations. Graduations are cool. You get a chance to watch kids. I call them kids, but they're adults. But you watch these students sort of transition into their careers. You get to watch these students and these leaders transition into what they want to be. A lot of excitement, a lot of family unity, a lot of family hugs, smiles. You get to see students outside the classroom setting and they become human beings to you, you know? So it's a really exciting journey, but what that means is summer's coming up. So here's our first top 5. Our first top 5 are the top 5 summer destinations for this year. The first one is the coast of Italy. The coast of Italy is number 1. And it says it's the very dreamy coast with the bottomless sort of history, water, clear water. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. So the coast of Italy tops out the charts in destinations for this summer. All right. Number 2, Cyprus, located 40 miles south of Turkey. It's hot, dry summers with daytime temperatures in the 90s. They said this is the place to be. All right, Turkey. All right, south of Turkey. All right, now, number 3 for us is Glacier National Park. The U.S. finally make it to this top 5 at number 3, the Glacier National Park. open year round, but this summer is supposed to be one of the top 5 in the country of places to visit for the summer. Everything we've mentioned so far is kid friendly, and it looked like we're going to continue down that path. At number 4, Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming. Now, that's a beautiful place. It's saying that it's number 4 out of our top 5. And then number 5, rounding us out as the least, but still the top 5 places to visit for the summer, is San Diego. Now, San Diego is beautiful. I have nothing against San Diego, but it was cool to see San Diego on this list because I wouldn't have had that in my mind. So San Diego, they said it offers a perfect blend of sun, surf, vibrant cultures. You can enjoy beautiful beaches. Literally they have everything from not just museums, but also they have water parks. San Diego gives you a little bit of everything. And so your top 5, San Diego, Yellowstone National Park, Glacier National Park, Cyprus, and then the coast of Italy. Now, coast of Italy is a long coast, but they have several ones mentioned in here that you should try. But again, those are our top 5 for destinations this summer. Personally, this summer, I am teaching summer school, y'all, so I will be around, but I do have a planned trip to go to my family, go to DC. I am presenting at the social work conference, but DC, get a chance to see the museum. I have yet, believe it or not, to see the African American Museum. Every time I go, it's packed. So this hopefully I get a chance to go and experience that museum. And even if it's packed, I'm waiting in line. I'm gonna put a tent outside the front door in DC. So that's our summer plans. It's already warming up. We already got some warm weather. We had some rain last night, but that's our top 5 in terms of summer. All right, we got the top 5 issues for the state, for North Carolina. And right now, I do want to say that our gubernatorial race is remaining a very hot topic here. All right, please go research your candidates. Go research Josh Stein. Go research Mark Robinson. Josh Stein is representing the Democratic Party. Mark Robinson is representing the Republican Party. If you watch the news at all, you would see that Mark Robinson has been under attack for some of the things he said in the past, but recently he's been under attack for the nonprofit he's held. And so I believe they had to shut down the nonprofit. But please research your candidates. Get to learn who they are. Get to learn not just the technical, how they write, create, propose policy, but also go and check and make sure that you understand how they are as leaders. But go and check it out. We had a woman, police shot a woman in a Walmart parking lot. Witnesses claim that a woman was shooting a gun in the parking lot of Walmart in North Carolina. She was subsequently shot by a police officer. Again, we're seeing more and more of these incidents around the country. But in our beautiful state of North Carolina, we had a woman with a gun shooting in the parking lot of Walmart and was shot by the police. A 5-foot iguana was found wandering loose. Animal control officers in North Carolina were surprised to find a 5-foot iguana roaming freely. This was the second creature found in this city this year. There was a video earlier this year where there was a whole family of bears just roaming in Asheville. Again, some of our top 5 also ends with tornadoes that hit Tennessee and North Carolina. For those of you who've paid attention, we've had a wave of very heavy storms come through. And of those storms, North Carolina did receive tornadoes. So that's our top 5 for the state. And I wanna touch on a topic that we tried to touch on last time we was here together, and that was around our obligation to respond to fear-based narratives or our responsibility to respond to what will benefit our community. And what I mean by that is we talked about biophobia last time. We had Mickey Fern on the show, just amazing human being. He said that human beings in our country often line up to react to phobias, to fears. So fear of nature, fear of police officers, fear of your neighbors, fear of the wilderness, fear of heights. We often respond to heights. Fear of the other political party. We often respond with more urgency to fear-based narratives. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Why do we respond to fear rather than more proactive narratives? For example, when Mickey was with us, he said, self-actualized people who know who they are and confident in their skin, do not harm other people. That was his theory. That people who know who they are and they have a purpose in life, that they don't end up harming people or moving through fear of others. In our country, we are in a political season where fear of others is going to hit every commercial you get, every Spotify commercial, every YouTube commercial, every TV commercial. You're going to hear fear. And so I would love to get your thoughts on why do our political system lean on fear-based tactics? Why can't we talk about what we will be? Why can't we talk about being revisiting Black Wall Street, revisiting innovation? Why does our country rest on fear-based narratives? And so I would love to get your thoughts. When we get back from this commercial, I want to touch on this just a little bit. And so hit me back up when we get back on the other side. We're going to talk about what does it mean to rest in fear-based narratives, and then we get to a little mental health, y'all. All right, see you on the other side of this break. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. We were talking about fear-based narratives, and again, most of us know about this political structure that we're in. Most of us are going to go and hear a commercial, and it's going to scare you about whatever political topic you want to talk about. One pastor went viral. He went viral for holding up a Bible that was sold by Trump's team that had the Constitution attached to it. That pastor held up that Bible and he said, listen, everyone, you think that it's a good idea that somebody has glued together, attached together to the Bible, the Constitution of the United States, and he began to talk about why that was wrong. And he didn't use any fear language at all. He was saying just based on principle, that this idea of attaching the Constitution inside a Bible, how that by its just fundamental right was wrong, that the Constitution was for the people, by the people. Then he raised up the Bible and he said the Bible is by him, meaning by God, for God. So he was showing that at the core, there's a difference between these two. And he made his case based on difference, not based on fear. And so the question is, why do we get motivated by campaigns, by commercials, by marketers that's trying to sell us things based on fear? They'll show you somebody with a six-pack fit, or somebody that's ill, sick in the bed, and they try to sell you a product based on your fear of not becoming sick, or based on your desire to want to be this. But it always is based on making sure that you are feeling accepted and embraced by some subset of people. So the question is, why are we motivated by fear? So here are a few things that some of the researchers suggest. And I would love to get your thoughts on this as well. Please put it in the chat box. Emotional impact. They said people use fear because of emotional impact. It says fear is powerful. It's a powerful emotion. And it says it can motivate people to take crazy, absurd action. And it says that really, if you look at our political system, campaigns use fear to evoke strong reactions. If you ever go to some rallies, it could be a Trump rally or anti-Trump rally. They are motivated by the fear of the other person getting in power. And this fear is intense. And so that fear allows for people to feel threatened. And so they're more likely to support the policy or the group activity so that they can resolve that threat internally. So number one, the emotional impact. Fear is a powerful emotion. Number two, us versus them. Us versus them. That whole mentality. Fear narratives often create a sense of the other. This fear that I'm on the in group, you're on the out group, and that out group is dangerous. This in group is where we should be. So we should make every policy based on this in group and this in group alone. And we should make everybody that's not in this in group adjust to the policies and the desires of this in group. So again, it creates an us versus them. You see it in our politics, Republican versus Democrat, left versus right. When we have several parties that's running for presidency, we have several parties that are holding office around this country. Matter of fact, the largest growing political base in our country is the non-affiliate independent voter. The people who are not selecting left or right. But still in our political narratives, we create us versus them. And it allows for us to motivate people to go and move and do things. So fear creates external threat. That group scares me. That group is going to harm me. That group is going to hurt my way of life, and they need to no longer exist. The next one is media sensationalism. Like if you go on commercial, like I said before, that's all you're hearing. Matter of fact, if you're not doing your homework, and some of these commercials, they're taking words out of context and just cutting and pasting them into little stories so that you could feel comforted or scared or supported or included. So media outlets thrive on sensational stories. I mean, that's how they get you to pay attention. Fear-based narratives attract attention. It generates clicks, okay? Y'all already know this, all right? And it boosts ratings. The more clicks, the more ratings you're gonna get. By emphasizing and focusing on this sort of group behavior, the media can really exploit this and really cause alarming issues and framing them in an alarming way so that you feel that this is the end of the world. This is existential. If we don't tackle this idea, we're done. Media sensationalization. The next one is historic precedent. Throughout history, fear has been used to justify wars. I can't tell you how many people have apologized or have gone back on their word around Iraq. All you gotta do is YouTube it, okay? Just go to YouTube and go to Frontline and put Iraq. And you'll see so many political leaders that had to walk back their approval of us going to war in Iraq because they realized that all the evidence wasn't there that they said was there. But fear was there, and that was enough. Also, if you go back to racial history, people used to think that there was this civilized journey where most racial groups had to take a journey to civilization, and that the Caucasian white male was the most civilized, and that the African American male was the least civilized. And rather than saying civilized, they said barbarian, animal, monster. And so you see early political cartoons of African American people, even Asian people, they have characteristics, animal style teeth, animal style hands, ears. That fear, that historical precedent is in our country of fear. So we began to not even see Black, brown people as humans. We began to see them as animals. That's a historic precedent. Go and look at the book Barbarian Virtues. I say that book all the time. It's such an amazing book. But go look it up. They have all the historical documents in there. This is not a Terrance statement. This is a historic fact. The next one is the psychological basis. Again, we're trying to figure out, why do we get so excited and motivated by fear? Why don't we get as excited about possibilities, about what we can be together, where we can go together? In other words, we only exist to fear something else. And that's what it feels like. But humans have cognitive biases. We all know that make us receptive to fear-based messaging. Some researchers believe that it's cognitive bias. And so we're susceptible to this fear-based messaging. It's how we're designed. The negativity bias, for instance, causes us to pay attention to threats rather than positive news. So when you see the local news, it's like gunshot, robbery, theft, you see all these negative items, but positive news we wouldn't care too much about. Positive news, it wouldn't float our boat. Something negative, man, clickbait. The next one is campaign strategy. Really to get your attention, to get you on my side, I gotta paint this other person as non-human, as dangerous, as threatening American society. Almost, and to get your loyalty, I gotta let you know that once that person's elected, that they will do this for the rest of their lives. Again, part of campaign strategy is to create fear in you. So the question is, why are we motivated by all of this fear and not motivated by positive? The next one is this social identity and group dynamics. We want to be a part of the group. We want to belong. And if belonging means that I must share your fear for something else, then I will adopt and embrace your fear. If fearing something else allows me to be a part of your group, many of us will take that option. I've been wrestling with this lately, and I would love to get your thoughts. Why are we so motivated by fear? I think the side effects of that is that we begin to create paranoid people. We begin to create communities of distrust, where you're afraid to talk to your neighbor, if you're afraid to make assumptions about people, you're afraid of bumper stickers. Everything around you causes you to distrust your neighbor, your fellow person. So we get a bunch of individual, autonomous people, and we lose our collective power. Again, just think about that this political year. What are groups trying to make you be afraid of? What are groups trying to make you hate? What are groups trying to make you dislike? Just pay attention to that. I would love to get your thoughts on that fear narrative. Mickey said last week, and I'll shift to the next segment on this. People who are self-actualized don't need to fear in order to be motivated. People who are self-actualized don't harm other people. How are you going to be self-actualized? How are you going to find your purpose? You find your purpose, you become self-actualized, you change how the community see you. Go and be the difference. Go and make sure that you're not allowing yourself to be acceptable to fear-based narrative. With that being said, I want to move on over to our topic, mental health. All right, you know, we always got to come to this segment because with all of this fear-based narratives, with all this political language going on, with the Middle East on fire, symbolically, and actually with Ukraine still in war, with the economy, people feeling the inflation in the economy and the cost of gas and the cost of groceries, there's some anxiety. People are feeling it. Taxes are going up. People are feeling that stress. People are feeling that pain. And so today I want to talk about a few things, a few tech things. Usually when we talk about mental health, we're talking about anti-tech. How do we leave tech to the side? Today we're going to try to touch a few tools that can help us. That is tech related, deal with our mental health. The first one is AI-powered diagnostics. These are some tools, some technological tools that we could use to help us with our mental health. AI-powered diagnostics. This helps enhance precision and timely intervention. So they have these algorithms that analyze data sets, your records, your brain scans, and your social media interactions, and they help discern just subtle linguistic behavior patterns. So it almost takes all of your data, your online data, and it allows it to predict any future behaviors that may be signs of high anxiety, high stress. Risk assessment, it'll tell you if you're at risk of any high stress, high anxiety incident. It looked through your medical history. It looked through your social determinants of health. It looks through genetic disposition. What happened to your parents? And it allows for accurate predictions. Now, most people will tell you mental health, you need to leave technology alone, but this tool seems dynamic. I mean, it goes through all your medical history, it goes through all of your online social media engagements. It really tries to capture all of you and make predictions and through AI on your mental health and your risk assessment. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, some people, again, will not just open up all their data to AI, but I thought that was a pretty cool tool. The next tool is telepsychiatry and virtual care. Now, this has become popular since 2020, but virtual care, not going into an office. For some of us where there's a stigma around mental health, a stigma around counseling and therapy, this is something for you. You can, privacy of your home, you can log on, get a virtual counselor, a virtual therapist, and get the help you need in the privacy of your home. You don't need to travel anywhere. You don't need to get in a car. You can access your therapist anywhere. I thought that was pretty cool option. The next one's AR and VR, and virtual reality, and augmented reality. These are where you put on some sort of headset and it takes you into another world. For those of you who have never used a VR or AR headset, it's pretty amazing. I have one. I love it to death. You literally feel like you're going into another place, even though it's just a headset and you're still at your home or your school or your work. But I can see how this tool can immerse you in an experience, and immerse you in a peaceful environment without you ever leaving your home. And so for me, for those of you who've never thought about it, but some therapeutic strategies can definitely be found in AR and VR, augmented and virtual reality. I've used it and I thought that it was just, I think it's an amazing tool. And so for those of you, don't knock it before you try it. I know some of y'all are like, I don't know, doc, I don't know. But don't knock it before you try it. AR and VR, mental health. You could use augmented and virtual reality to really as therapeutic interventions. Brain simulation. Now this one is cool. Brain simulation, this is one pretty cool. Pioneering New Testament avenues, techniques like transcranial magnetic stimulation and electroconvulsive therapy. TMS uses magnetic fields to stimulate specific brain regions. I still got to work myself up, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you, to touch anything around magnetic fields to stimulate my mind. But that is a technological option, a technology option within technology. Wearable monitoring. Now I have a watch that I trust and I value. My watch is pretty cool. It can monitor my heartbeat. It monitors my stress. It tells me how many steps I've taken. It let me know if I've been sitting still for a long time. It will nudge me to move around. Watches nowadays, digital watches nowadays are pretty powerful. So if you've never had a new sort of modern digital watch, they're almost like a cell phone. And so those are some things to really think about as you go into your summer, around some sort of technology that can help you with your mental health. I'm trying to make sure I normalize this segment for everyone, because you're walking in a political season where you got to choose your mayor, your councilor, your commissioner, your school board, your state superintendent, your state house, senate leaders, your federal house and senate leaders, and then your president. This is going to be a very intense year. Start getting used to some sort of mental health practice, and that's on top of just life happening. Okay. All right. Everyone, we're gonna move on over to national politics. All right, we're gonna move on over to national politics. On national politics today, we have the NYPD social media brawls. The New York Police Department is engaging in social media battles with critics like never before. Investigation underway regarding their use of the medium, and so. It looks like the New York Police Department is aggressively engaging in dialogue with people on social media, which our world is not accustomed to seeing. But I can see that being the future, where government agencies are actively advocating, speaking for themselves online, no matter how aggressive or subtle that may be. Next, California's next governor in campus protests. California's next governor faces questions about handling campus protests. The progressive state senator aims to challenge Eric Adams, who has legal and political challenges. And so again, you're watching some really intense political shifts around how people manage these campus protests, and it's been a very powerful thing to watch. Now, college campuses are closing down because it's graduation. Once graduation, all kids go home, all professors go home primarily. And so you're gonna see some of this die down, but it was intense to see how all the college campuses sort of activated. Biden's statement on offensive weapons to Israel. If you've been watching, America and Biden have been having some sort of feedback for the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, just giving him some advice and wisdom around the tension that's happening in Israel. And so Biden has some words that seem to have ruffled the feathers of Israel's leader. Oil industry influence on executive orders. The oil industry is reportedly writing executive orders for Trump to sign. The oil industry is reportedly writing executive orders for Trump to sign. Skepticism surrounds whether the Trump campaign can focus on energy issues as the election draws closer. Now, this is where you got to know your advocacy. There are many groups, many groups that write policy. And they write them for leaders, and some political leaders don't even write the policy; they just get them handed over. And so, just watch that—the oil industry writing policy. NFL lobbying on drone incursions. Representatives from nearly every NFL franchise are on Capitol Hill to press an amendment in the FAA reauthorization bill. The goal is to counter the growing trend of drone incursions during sports events. Again, we're in a different world, y'all. We're talking about drones over live events where people are paying thousands and hundreds of dollars to attend. You're talking about oil industry writing policy, which they have done in past times. You're talking about Biden and tension between Israel and America over the level of tension in the handling of the Middle East. You're talking about power shifts based on the protests that's happening on college campuses, and then the NYPD using social media to fight back at critics. And that's our national news. And I'm gonna close with this. We need to make sure that we are in a culture where fear is not driving us. I want to close with this. If you allow fear to drive you, and in your group, your collective, your tribe allows fear to drive it, then our political campaigns will remain the same. They will tell you the worst of the worst. They will tell you that it's going to be the end of the world so that you can leave your living room and vote. But if you're just active because it's your civic duty, and you're active because it's the right thing to do, and you're active because people in history have died so that you got the right to vote, then we don't need fear to motivate you. If you have a purpose, if you have a purpose in life, you're going somewhere, there's something that you're driving to do, then you don't need fear. You don't need fear to motivate you to be politically active and to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention right now, be active right now, find purpose right now, so that you can see beyond the fear narratives that's going to be in these political commercials, in these political narratives. Don't let fear drive your decisions. Let your mind intelligently think through the issues. You be an issue-based voter, not a fear-based voter. Thank y'all for joining me on this Thursday. It's always a pleasure. Please send any questions, send any thoughts. I am here, always here to answer your questions. And it's a pleasure to always be here with you on The Truth with Terrance Ruth. I will see you next time in the studio. Take care, y'all.
Every time I step in the booth, I speak the truth. Y'all know what I'm bringing to you.
You're live on the air in The Truth with Terrance Ruth. North Carolina news and politics, culture, sports, and the latest from the Triangle and Eastern Carolina. The Truth with Terrance Ruth.